Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Late for the Party on Anchor FM. I am your host, Melodious. We're going to get into another Quickfire review on Netflix's Birdbox. Now, I've been getting a lot of people hitting me up about, hey, are you going to do a Quickfire review, or in my mind, about Birdbox? So pretty much, I was kind of on the fence about it at first, because I just never really thought about watching movies like that, to where it's like you're kind of handicapping yourself because you just don't know what the hell's going on. But, I decided, okay, why not? I have a little bit of time on my hands, and so I decided to watch it. And I must say that I don't know why I watched this damn film, because it's just kind of like, I'm tired of these post-apocalyptic doom and gloom type films, to where like people are dying in the wrongest of ways, and and it's like, I've read the book before. I wasn't really paying no mind to it even back then, but it's just like, the unknown mysteries of like ominous presence or ominous forces, or making you do multiple things. It's kind of like watching The Happening, to where like you didn't realize what's going on, but all these random mass suicides are just popping out of left field, and it's kind of like it's been done already, and it's kind of it's just a little different because people are wearing blindfolds. And now, like, I think it was really because everybody was doing all these memes online, and this freaking Birdbox challenge, which honestly I think people need to be very fucking careful with shit like that, because not only you walk into on the middle of the street or bump into something that you can't see. I mean, come on, man, be careful out there, people. Don't be doing some silly shit that's gonna get your ass all messed up. But moving on to the Quickfire review. Alright, here we go. So pretty much we got Sandra Bullock, who is pretty much hanging out with her sister, painting and everything. She goes to the doctor because she's basically pregnant. So you don't know what's going on with that, other than the fact that she got pregnant by a guy and she doesn't want to have the baby. So pretty much she goes to the doctor. The doctor is recommending maybe giving up the kid for adoption and everything else. But in mid-flight of all this stuff that's going on the news, like overseas and other places, all this stuff is going on with, like, I don't know what we're going to call it. Let's just call it the Birdbox. Let's call it the Birdbox effect, because it's like, the thing is that you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's attacking everybody, and it's just spreading all over the place like wildfire. So then all of a sudden she goes to the doctor, everything like that. So, and then after she gets to, after she starts leaving from the doctor, then it starts breaking out right where she is. Like, one girl's banging her head up against the, glass. See, the glass wall. I mean, it's just crazy, because it's just like, it's just random of, you don't know what the fuck is going on. A bad case of it. And it's like, and I mean, no spoilers and everything. I'm trying not to get involved with any spoilers, but hell, if you ain't watched it by now, you ain't gonna watch it at all. And if you watch it, it ain't no goddamn surprise. So, but it kind of like jumps back and forth between 5 years later, and she has like 2 kids and stuff like, and she has 2 kids. And I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, you going through all this stuff through life, half the time blindfolded, trying to get to where you need to be. You got 2 kids, you're hungry as hell. How do you know, like, when to take off your how do you know where you're going, exactly where you're going, and stuff like that? It's just, how you pick up guns, how you pick up a lot of stuff. So there's just a lot of randomness that's going on. So it's like, then you get caught up in the house, then you get people like freaking John Malkovich, and you got Little Rail, which is like very random that his ass is in this freaking movie. And then you got Moonlight's what's his name, Trevante Rhodes, who's like, of course, the hero, the guy who's trying, the one who's got all the, pretty much the brains of everybody in the house. Like, he's just trying to keep everybody together. So it's kind of like watching Night of the Living Dead cross The Happening. So it's kind of like in that magnitude. So and it's just, but it's just sad because it's like, you don't know what's going on. You don't know how these things are just coming out of left field. It's just messed up because it's like these random deaths and suicides and just, fuck it. I'm going to get out of the spoil. I'm going to get into the spoiler stuff. All right. Because I'm really getting sick and tired. Like, what's up with all the black people always sacrificing themselves to save the day? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're always saving other people. And, they're the ones who's always saving people's lives, but they're the ones who's losing their lives in the process. I mean, I'll give props to the fact that they're able to do that, but Jesus Christ, man, come on. All the time. Like, dude, and it's like, I just don't believe Sandra Bullock enough to where she's like this hard-nosed survivalist who's trying to protect two kids, trying to get through everything, and also it's just hard for me to be like, okay, you have this presence, we'll just call it the presence. You have the presence just coming up, just randomly floating around. The thing is like, whatever that these things, like, you don't see what it is that people are looking at, because in the book, it comes in a way to where it doesn't come in the same form as if I look at something like my biggest nightmare or my biggest fear, it looks at me and it comes at me in the form of my greatest nightmare or my greatest fears. And it'll be different from somebody else. So everybody has different perspectives. So it could be like a demon, it could be, it could be a lot of things. So, but it just comes in a different shape or form. So it doesn't, but the thing is, in the movie, you don't see it. So I'll give some props to the fact that it has the creepy factor, because you don't know what's affecting them. You don't know what's affecting people enough to where it just randomly starts, committing suicide. They'll walk into a bonfire, and you don't hear no screaming or anything else like that, which is kind of weird and creepy in all itself too. So, there's that, but it's just like, and then also there's like, it affects people, but then also it affects like certain people to where they'll either go crazy or they'll, it's almost like that. It's almost helping like the presence help attack people, or like get people to, like, they'll start having people do things like, oh, it's so beautiful, take a look at it, and they'll even force people to open their eyes and stuff like that, take off their blindfold. There's a lot of weird shit that's going on in this movie, and it's like just so much randomness, but it's almost like they're taking bits and pieces of, like, you'll see like The Walking Dead, you'll see Night of the Living Dead, you'll see The Happening, you'll see a lot of these things all rolled into one, and it's kind of like, that's interesting. But it's just like really like kind of done with most of these films, like all these disaster films and these doom and glooms, and like, I got past The Walking Dead because it's like, it sucks because you get into these large bodies of groups, and like you start caring about people individually, but then it's kind of like you kind of know where it's all going. You got the protagonists, you got the You got the protagonist, you got the boy and the girl. I mean, you might have a couple of kids in there, maybe. And then you got the asshole, you got the police officer, you got the drug dealer, or whatever the case may be. You might have the gay guy, or like, whatever the case, or, you know, you might have the older people in there. So there's just a lot of stuff about the movie that it was like relatively cliched, and you kind of saw where it's all going. And I mean, if you're gonna do shit like that, at least make it a little different, to where it's like, you know, you're already coming from the template of all the other films that's came before it. So I mean, unless you're gonna do something different enough to where it's not really like, oh, this is fresh, this is brand spanking new. Like, you know, it's kind of like, it is what it is. But either way, so ultimately, for my rating for Birdbox, I mean, I'm gonna give it honestly, I wouldn't even give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. Fuck it. I'll give it a 7 because, I mean, I did watch it. I mean, it did kind of keep me compelled on what's going, like, trying to figure out, like, what's going on. Are they trying to figure it all out? Like, how are they going to get out of this in one piece? But the thing was that was getting me the most was because it was like, you see them jotting back and forth from like okay, 5 years later, or 5 years later from the incident that's happened, and like, it goes all over the place. So, you know, but either way, I give it a 7. I'm like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I'm sorry, people, I give it a 6.5. I mean, it was nothing that was really like wowed about. I mean, it's funny how everybody's given all these memes and everything about it, and these silly ass challenges, but yeah, it was a 6.5. I mean, if you want to sit down and watch it, hey, more power to you. I mean, I'm not saying I lost any brain cells from it, but either way, I mean, it's a popcorn flick if you ain't doing anything or going out on a Friday or Saturday night and you just want to chill at home and eat some popcorn or eat some cereal. But either way, I'm tired of black people sacrificing themselves in movies just to save other people's asses who really don't look like they give two shits even if they lived or not. So either way, man, but this is the Quickfire review on Late for the Party. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and support the podcast, y'all. I am your host, Melodious, and as always, it's okay to be late for the party, but never be late for the fun.